Hi guys, I'm back again with another video. Today I'm going to talk about Kurozomi Orochi's life and who he is and how he rose to the status he has now. But before that, please leave a like and press that subscribe button. Okay guys, let's go! Orochi is a rather large man with a big head and stocky build. He appears to be balding, with his dark purple hair being mostly seen on the sides and back of his head, and he has a long top knot in the back as well as a thin mustache that sticks upward. His two upper canine teeth are longer and his other teeth are blunt. They remain blunt in his hybrid form. He wears a gold kimono with a fan-shaped pattern on it, a blue robe with flowers on it, as well as a crown on his head. Kurozomi Orochi is the current shogun, in other words a hereditary commander-in-chief of the Wano country. And he is also one of the allies of Kaido, one of the four Yonkos. Okay, so let's talk about his past. So Orochi lived in squalor in his youth after his family lost their power due to his grandfather's crimes. He and his family were also persecuted and hunted down by some ruthless vigilantes, causing Orochi to live in fear. Over time, he gained hatred to all the people of Wano, which extended to all those who had nothing to do with his suffering. Over 41 years ago, he was approached by Kurozomi Higurashi, who revealed to him how his grandfather unsuccessfully tried to become shogun by poisoning his fellow daimyo, but he was caught and forced to commit seppuku. Orochi was stunned at the possibility that he could have been the shogun and agreed to follow Higurashi's instructions to obtain the title. She told him to hoard gold and produce weapons in order to gain powerful allies. 41 years ago, Orochi worked as a servant for Shimotsuki Yasui. When the shogun's son, Kozuki Oden, departed Yasui's residence after staying there, Orochi stole money and blamed it on Oden. He later left Yasui's residence himself and took the daimyo's remaining gold. Orochi then went to Kuri, where Oden rules as a daimyo. He got Oden to lend him money many times, promising to pay him back. Around 30 years ago, Orochi went to the shogun's castle with Higurashi, who disguised herself as Oden with her devil fruit powers. She asked Kozuki Sukiyaki to give Orochi a job at the castle, and Sukiyaki obliged. So for those who don't know, Sukiyaki is the current shogun of the Wano country and Oden's father. And around 28 years ago, Sukiyaki fell sick, and the old woman, Higurashi, posed as him and decreed that Orochi would temporarily succeed him as shogun until Oden returned from his absence. Once Orochi successfully became shogun, the old woman gave him the Hebi no Mi model Yamato no Orochi, which she had promised him during their first meeting. By the time Oden left his wife and children in care of his retainers for 26 years ago, Orochi had joined forces with Kaido and constructed weapon factories. With support from the beast pirates, Orochi forced citizens to work in factories, and those who refused would be executed. He also took over the shogunate's ninja squad known as the Kozuki Oniwabanshu, with their leader Fukuro Kuju submitting to him. When Oden returned to Wano a year later, he went to the flower capital and attacked Orochi after hearing about his oppression. Oden's attack was stopped by Kurozomi Semimaru, who used a barrier to protect Orochi, with Oden unable to harm him. While at the meantime, Orochi also explained how he rose to power. Orochi and Kaido then made a deal with Oden. If Oden danced naked in the flower capital once a week, citizens would be spared. They also promised to leave Wano in 5 years. In the aftermath, Oden started dancing naked in the flower capital, causing Orochi to laugh profusely. 5 years later, Orochi had Kaido capture the Yakuza boss Hyogoro and kill his family due to being unable to control Hyogoro. He then traveled to Kuri to inform Oden that he would be building weapon factories in the region and told him about what happened to Hyogoro. On the day of Oden's execution, Orochi was present at the execution site to witness the execution. Orochi did not object to Kaido's deal with Oden to allow those surviving the boiling pot for an hour go free. During the execution, Orochi was displeased that Oden was holding his retainers above him with a piece of wood, but Kaido did not mind. After the citizens found out about the deal between Oden and Orochi from 5 years ago, Orochi ignored their pleas. Even though Oden successfully survived for an hour, Orochi decided to execute him and his retainers with a firing squad. As the scabbards fled, Orochi watched as Kaido shot Oden in the head. Before her death, Kozuki Tochi, or Oden's wife, cursed Orochi, which she interpreted as a prophecy that the Kozuki family would get revenge on him in 20 years. After Oden's death, Orochi approached the 4 other daimyo of Wano and gave them the choice to join him or die. All of them refused and staged a rebellion but were defeated by Kaido. A few years before Momonosuke's return, Orochi mixed faulty smile fruits with the leftovers from the flower capital and fed them to the residents of leftover towns, robbing the poor of their ability to express their anger or sadness. Personality-wise, as the last member of the Kurozomi family, who were disgraced and stripped of their power and authority, Orochi developed immense greed and thirst for power from an early age, due to being forced to live in poverty since birth. When he worked as a servant for Yasui, Orochi outwardly exhibited a timid and servile attitude. He would also lie and steal from his master at a young age and blame it on Oden. As an adult, Orochi is extremely cruel and an oppressive tyrant. Under his rule, the people of Wano suffered great famines. The officials under him also harshly enforced his regime, and he collaborated with Kaido not to only kill Oden, but to turn Wano into a complete wasteland in exchange for Kaido's power and protection, disregarding his own country and people in favor of his own self-interest. Due to his power and connections, he is completely fearless and arrogant, as he proclaimed to CPO that he does not fear the celestial dragons nor the marines. He even shot one of the CP0 agents, confident that they could not do anything against him. Orochi takes absolute pride in his tyrannical dictatorship of Wano, proudly proclaiming to the CPO agents how Wano had remained a self-sufficient, prosperous country despite its isolation. He even states that all his citizens are happy, turning a blind eye to the fact that the majority of them constantly suffer from hunger. He even goes as far to feed them defective smile fruits to stop them from expressing sadness and despair from tyranny, in order to support his selfish delusion of Wano being a happy and blissful paradise. Orochi is also completely delusional about himself, using propaganda to glorify himself as a powerful hero, twisting tales of Oden's legendary strength as his own, claiming to have defeated Oden and his retainers single-handedly, when in reality Orochi completely relied on Kaido's support for power and protection. Orochi himself has made contact with such outsiders, such as CP0, accepting a warship from them in exchange for weapons and demanding Dr. Vegapunk to be delivered in the country in exchange for more. By allowing CP0 agents into his castle for negotiations, for demanding Vegapunk as payment, he effectively broke the isolation policy for his own agenda. Orochi is also immensely extravagant and hedonistic, as he loves to hold banquets with luxurious food and drinks accompanied by refined music and dancing. Abilities-wise, Orochi owns the Hebi no Mi model Yamata no Orochi, a mythical Zoan type of devil fruit, which allows him to transform into an 8-headed snake. Only one head bears his eyes, mustache, and crown, while the others have more generic looks by comparison. In this form, he is given the ability to attack in multiple directions with his considerably strong jaws. So that's all for today, guys, and that's all for Orochi, as we will see more of him as the series continues and as the Wano arc goes on. So I'll see you guys in my next video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and love y'all. Bye.